Utpost.org web journal concerning foreign affairs. Today we have been visited by Mr. Salah Abdel-Shafi, who is a Palestinian economist and the current Palestinian ambassador to Sweden. You lectured on the status of the Palestinian-Israeli peace process. How would you describe the peace process that has been running since the conflict began?
Well, currently the peace process is stuck simply because we were never able to reach an agreement with the Israelis. The aim of the peace process when it started almost 20 years ago was to reach an agreement about establishing an independent Palestinian state next to the state of Israel. To reach this goal, this requires that Israel ends its occupation of the Palestinian territories that Israel occupied in 1967. Now, as long as Israel is refusing to end its occupation, there will be no peace. And that's why our interest today is to have an international position, to have the international community help us as Palestinians, but also help the Israelis, because we think that peace should be a vested interest also for Israel, not only for Palestinians. So now the international community, above all the American administration and the European Union, are engaged to provide the conditions that would make the peace process successful. Currently, we don't have direct negotiations with Israel because we think that there is no ground for negotiations. It is only if Israel accepts to stop its policy of taking Palestinian land. If Israel complies with this, which is, by the way, an international demand, then this will be the right condition for resuming meaningful negotiations.
So how does the conflict between Hamas and Fatah affect a possible peace process?
Well, you see, we have to differentiate between two issues. The issue of Fatah and Hamas is an internal Palestinian issue. It's an issue that is related to two different political approaches, to two different political programs. Fatah is a political power that has decided to achieve Palestinian independence through peaceful negotiations with Israel. Hamas refuses this approach. Hamas insists on having primarily resistance and military resistance as a means to reach Palestinian aspirations. So that's why we think that these differences should not influence the peace process. At the end of the day, the Palestinians have their leadership, which is the PLO, the Palestine Liberation Organization, and the world is negotiating with this leadership. And this leadership represents all Palestinians. Now, the moment we reach an agreement with Israel about the borders of the future Palestinian state, the issue of Fatah and Hamas remains an internal Palestinian issue. It is important because we cannot build a state when there is division, when there is deep division between Palestinians. So it is both issues would help solve the other problem, meaning if we agree on a final status solution that says there is a Palestinian state, this will help internal Palestinian reconciliation. But also, if we have internal Palestinian reconciliation, if we have one Palestinian voice, one unified Palestinian position, this will also help and strengthens our negotiating position with Israel.
So what would you say are the conditions for a reasonable peace process in that area?
Again, the most important thing for us today is that Israel should signal its seriousness about peace. And the only thing that Israel can signal this seriousness with is if they stop completely, freeze all settlement activities, including confiscation of Palestinian land, including bringing in illegal Jewish settlers to Palestinian territories, Because if Israel doesn't do this, and Israel keeps taking Palestinian land, there will be no land left for a Palestinian state. So, in our opinion, this is the most pressing issue for a successful peace process.
Okay. Mr. Abdel-Shafi, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
And you can find more clips on our web journal, Utpost.org.